everyone, welcome back. So, Chicago Fire season 14, episode 17 flips the usual dynamic in a big way because this time it's not Severide handling the OFI case, it's Stella Kid stepping into his shoes. And while this should have been her moment to shine, it might have actually created bigger problems than expected. With squad 3 out, Kid gets pulled into an arson investigation, and to her credit, she really delivers. You can see that she's learned a lot by just watching Severide over time. From the way she examines the scene to how she presents her suspicions, Kid proves she is capable of handling high pressure cases. What makes this even more interesting is her pairing with Hargreaves. Instead of the usual dynamic we see with Severide and Van Meter, this partnership feels more like a learning experience. Hargreaves takes on a guiding role, and Kid actually steps back, listens, and absorbs everything. Something we don't always see from her. It's a nice change of pace and shows a different side of her growth. But while Kid is setting up, things behind the scenes are starting to spiral. Chief Hopkins is clearly building a case against Severide, and the Kid may have unintentionally added fuel to the fire. By bringing up Severide's involvement in OFI cases, she gives Hopkins exactly what he needs to push his agenda. And let's be honest, this isn't really about fairness or eliminating nepotism. This feels personal. Severide's history with OFI has always been known and approved, so suddenly turning it into an issue doesn't add up. Hopkins seemed more focused on settling a score tied to Benny Severide than actually doing what's right. And that's where the situation becomes frustrating because Severide is being targeted for something completely out of his control. A son shouldn't have to pay for his father's past. At the same time, the episode tries to balance all this tension with a lighter storyline at Molly's. Herman, as expected, turns things competitive when he decides to organize a trivia night to bring in more customers and compete with another bar's deal. It's a very Herman move, but the build up feels a bit cluttered with everything else going on. Still, the payoff is fun mainly because Tony unexpectedly becomes the highlight. For someone who's usually treated as comic relief, he finally gets a moment to shine. His so called useless knowledge ends up being exactly what his team needs to win, and it's honestly refreshing to see characters like Tony and Cap get a little more depth instead of just being the running joke. Then there's the drama that doesn't quite land, the tension between Violet, Novak, and Vasek. Violet tries to do the right thing by coming clean to Novak, admitting what happened and making it clear she wouldn't have acted if she knew Novak still had feelings. But even though Novak seems okay with it on the surface, her action says otherwise. Throughout the episode, she openly flirts with Vysak and even hints at things further. But at that point, it stops feeling like a misunderstanding and starts feeling intentional. It creates an uncomfortable dynamic, and honestly, it's not the kind of storyline the show needs right now. Love triangles can work, but not when they risk breaking strong friendship for unnecessary drama. By the end of the episode, everything ties back to a bigger theme: trust, choices, and morality. Kate is left realizing that not everyone operates the same way she does. Lucy finds herself in a difficult position holding information that could change everything, but also feeling the pressure of her own situation. And Hopkins continues to push forward with his own agenda, regardless of who it affects. Overall, the episode gives Kate a strong opportunity to step up and prove herself, but it also sets the stage for a serious consequences. What should have been a win for her might end up creating bigger trouble for Severide. And with tensions rising across multiple storylines, it feels like this is just the beginning of something much bigger. Thank you for watching. Bye.